Hey, Cancer, welcome back to Steampunk Psyche. If you are a returning subscriber, you have my love. I appreciate you. If you're brand new to the channel or just cross-watching, I'm JT. Cancer, we're going to do just a general reading again, like we always do. Going to find out what's going to shake loose in your energy. Sometimes situations line up, sometimes they don't. Don't hate the reader. I'm just trying to give you as many explanations of the cards that I can. Also, do keep in mind that I always put your haiku poems right before your reading. That being said, we'll shuffle up and talk about the categories. Cancer, I wish for you peace, love, harmony, happiness. I wish for you in this reading to find some clarity, to find some answers. The minor arcana show us the day-to-day grind, and the major arcana come out and speak to us about major events or certain time shifts or, some important things in our life. So let's value those major arcana cards. Let's see what shakes loose. In the present energy, in the crossing challenge, in the foundation, in the recent past, in the possibilities, in the near future, the self, the environment, the hopes, fears, wishes, or worries, and the outcome and the direction. All right, Cancer, I'm going to take a look at these cards, and while I'm doing that, check out your haiku poems, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, Cancer, your reading starts off with the Three of Cups. I got to be honest with you. I know exactly the type of person you are. I'm going to show you. We are talking about this Three of Cups energy here that gives you this feeling of you're the person I pulled up to at the stoplight, and you got that tune jammed up so loud that your license plate's rattling. And we're the ones looking over at you going, what in the hell are you so happy about? That's the energy. I just wanted you to see that. Some of y'all might, you might resonate with some of them tunes, but yep, you're that person. That's the energy of the Three of Cups. This is all about glow up. People want you around. Okay, this is I don't know, someone specific might be like relieved that you're back outside, you're alive again. Okay, they may not admit it to you, but they see you. this is this has got also kind of a jealousy little bite to it in this reading. So just take what resonates, you guys, and leave the rest for somebody else. But I don't know. This is the glow up era for you here. I don't know. Somebody from your past maybe sees you, and I feel like this is that I'm going to tag you in a photo, and then immediately check your profile to see if you, see if you responded, something like that. This is the friends inviting you out kind of randomly, but it's actually because I think it might be about somebody who has asked about you. Let's get this person here. Okay, it's got that flirty DM. After posting that celebration pic here. Okay, this may have been the person that ghosted you, right? Who's trying to re-enter casually. For some of you, it's the hey stranger text. You know what I mean? It could be like the third party watching your interactions, maybe a little too closely here. Uh, but I don't know. It's got being invited to some kind of an event. Where someone I don't know, somebody hopes to accidentally run into you, right? This has got Definitely got love songs and something that reminds, I don't know, maybe some of you might be seeing like spiraling staircases. You might be dreaming about that. Pay attention to your synchronicities around this time. Um, it's somebody's acting chill, but they're watching everything here. Okay, who you're with, who's commenting, who's tagging, right? Um, coming together though. I want to talk about this challenge card. We'll get in depth here. You've got this Queen of Cups energy here. Okay, this is one of those moments where I'm gonna have to give you the yep, take it with a grain of glitter. It's all good. I'm gonna be soft with it, but it's like your challenge is emotional saturation. It's like you feeling everything, absorbing everything, caring even when you don't want to. I think a lot of us do this a lot, right? We kind of tend to put on a mask temporarily for others, right? So this is like sensing what someone's feeling about you before they're saying anything. You pick up maybe on, like I said, we did have kind of a third party situation. Excuse me. There might be some jealousy involved in this, and I'm like, I don't know. You pick up on it, even when they're trying to hide it. So I kind of like I got this sense that you might be feeling guilty about pulling back, even when you need a little space, right? So it's, I don't know, overthinking the message that didn't get a reply, or feeling just responsible for someone else's, emotional stability here. This has got that, I don't know, crying after a conversation, that didn't seem that deep. You know what I mean? It's just being drained after, maybe being around certain people. The Queen of Cups, she's in the ebb and flow. You know what I mean? So, but it's all about intuition here. We've got, we've got the High Priestess, we've got the Empress card. So somebody is definitely in their high feminine energy, and so it makes sense why, like right at this time, and some of you could be really, really being affected by the moon phases as well. So just kind of keep, if you don't keep a journal or something like that, just maybe make a note. Take a look outside and get online and find out what phase the moon is in. And when you're in those deep concentrated feelings, you're in that high Empress energy. You're just really picking up on a lot of emotions, and so this is like feeling someone else's heartbreak, as if it's your own, right? Sensing that somebody in the third party or external of you, you're kind of in that, it's got that insecurity kind of feeling, so you're torn between, like, I don't know, protecting your heart and trying to stay open. And the Queen of Cups is definitely in that open state. So, like I said, I just feel like somebody's definitely in their, they're in their heart space right now. So, all right, this could be the somebody also is like relying on your, maybe your own emotional intelligence here, and they're not like really matching you in this particular sense. Okay. I don't know. It's got definitely synchronicities of those rainy day blues. You know what I mean? Um, I'm thinking of that old song, like, right, like Nights in White Satin, from the Moody Blues. It's an old tune, but it's like that's definitely one of those rainy day songs. You know what I mean? Anyway, all right, we're going to talk about this foundation. We got that Wheel of Cups. I keep wanting to go back to the cups. Well, it's all about the emotions, and I feel like the cycle's changing. You know what I'm saying? The Wheel of Fortune talks about that. Timing. Um, and it's something about the weather. Like I said, it may be just because my allergies are kicking my ass right now, but I'm just saying. I don't know. This is the moment that fate's kind of, going to step in and kind of reroute things for you. I feel like so far your 2026 is kind of like everything's building up to this turning point. Okay, there's a moment here where, I don't know, like that a message arrives at the exact moment. That job opportunity is about to bust open. Okay, it could be that situation with the third party is going to just exit. You know what I mean? Um, I don't know. For some of you, it could be like meeting that someone at the wrong time that becomes the right time. You get what I mean? It's got masculine energy here. Maybe realizing they're losing you, or they're trying to step up. And the feminine energy would be like, I ain't waiting. You know what I mean? It's got I'm choosing myself. You're in that Empress kind of, like I said, high priestess, very high intuitive energy right now. So I don't know. It could be like that financial door opening for some of you. That's been kind of stagnant for a while. It's got, karmic cycles that could end. Some of you could be seeing like, I don't know, synchronicities around this time. Pay attention. It's got like, I don't know. You keep looking at the clock, keep looking at your phone. You're seeing 111, 313, 515, those kinds of numbers repetitively, right? just timestamps, All right. We're talking about divine timing here, okay? And just kind of getting in line, syncing with the timeline. That is in that foundation for you, okay? The underlying, that would be the major arcana speaking to you, okay? We got the Eight of Pentacles in this recent past, okay? This is talking about the grind, emotionally, financially, spiritually. And I feel like somebody's noticed here, and it could have been part of that third party. It doesn't have to be like people necessarily, with some kind of a vendetta here. It could be like people that you work around, people you associate with. Some of you could have like side hustle or things like that, and they're just kind of watching that blow up, and they're evaluating your progress. That kind of a external look upon this situation, okay? But you're focused, and I feel like maybe somebody felt you, maybe pulling away, and I feel like it's like, with you having those three high intuitive, divine feminine type energies, it's like I'm doing this to improve my appearance. I'm doing this to improve my emotional stability here, right? And so it's got somebody kind of in this panicky energy. We're going to talk about that, but I don't know. For some of you, this is just I'm going to get more disciplined, and when you do this, or when you've talked about this, or I don't know, maybe within that friend group or something, it kind of puts somebody in the insecure stage here, okay? But this is like, I don't know, you get a new raise at work, or there's a new client involved in this situation. I don't know, maybe some of you are learning some kind of a new, I don't know, some kind of like a new skill, or something that, it's going to help boost your income. For others, this could look like, you've stopped responding, to text or something, and somebody's kind of like noticed here, right? But this is becoming definitely way more, selective with your own personal energy for the pullback. For some of you, you might resonate with like the spirit animal, the hummingbird. You know, the hummingbird has that tendency to brighten your day no matter what, right? It's like the small sign of progress here. Okay, that's got like something about leading to like a big breakthrough. You can watch a hummingbird fly around that feeder, or just even around the flowers and things like that. And its presence is like this small, but it's so large, right? It's got such an impact on our heart. So I feel like that's kind of what that may represent there, okay? All right, we're going to talk about the possibilities. We got the Queen of Swords here. All right, Cancer. Some of you could be, seeing signs like synchronicities around like glitching phones, your laptop, your tablet, something, your phone. Anytime you think of a person, or this, you get this. For some of you, it might be because it just bothers you. This person's energy just, disrupts your flow, but you're in that high intuitive state. And again, like I said, there's a lot of feminine presence here. So this is about boundaries, though. This is I'm clear, I'm sharp, I'm unbothered. Okay. Um, but maybe you just keep blocking somebody who keeps kind of like playing games, and you're done explaining yourself, right? So I feel like you might be like calling out all these mixed signals. The Queen is very sharp, double-edged, right? It's your breadcrumbs, your miscommunications, all this. I'm about to tell you exactly what I need here, right? And I don't know. You stop replaying those, WYD texts, right? Unfollowing somebody who's draining the shit out of you. This is I'm going to choose my logic over fantasy here. So I don't know. You let somebody's inconsistency, stop kind of like dictating your mood, right? So it's got, this is the universe here interrupting the patterns that no longer serve you. Okay. All right, we're going to talk about this near future. All right, check it out. Soft landing once again. Take it with a grain of glitter. This is all about this isn't a breakup here, okay? This is all about a truth, a moment, like a revelation, some kind of a release for you. Like I said, for some of you, the intensity at this time may be overwhelming for you, okay? But it's definitely kind of a moment of realization here. Someone, I don't know, somebody, they admit they weren't maybe honest about their feelings. It could look like, that third party's involvement may be coming to light for some of you. I don't know, some of you may have seen something online that, it stung a little bit, right? And ripped the Band-Aid right off of an old wound here. But this has got, that feminine energy that admits, um, she's been hurt longer than what maybe she said, or the masculine energy. It could look like the masculine kind of just breaking down emotionally, right? Um, but this has got, I cry unexpectedly, at times. For some of you, it could be, maybe expecting a bundle of joy gift coming, right? Some of you may experience, or somebody in your family pregnant or something like that. We do have the Empress involved here, and that is kind of the mothering, nurturing kind of an aspect as well. So just take what applies. But this is definitely that emotional truth hitting the body, like before the mind here. Okay, we could be talking about, I don't know, when you get focused on something else entirely. I feel like this is going to sort itself out. Okay, it's kind of like healing in silence. You're resting, you're kind of recalibrating the heart space, right? Okay. We're going to talk about this Four of Swords energy, and this is in the self. Okay, this is you pulling back. It's rest, retreat. This is I don't need closure. I'm going to sleep some more. I'm going to turn the phone off. I'm going to delete old messages. I'm not going to check their page anymore. I'm done. I'm meditating. Some of you could be journaling more, meditating more. It's taking a break from the dating apps, or the just running amok temporarily, right? I'm not going to respond to drama. I'm going to choose peace. You know what I'm saying, over some kind of a stupid, trying to prove a point. Take that social media break, right? It's perhaps some of you are dreaming about somebody again. Anyway, this is rising. Maybe even when you're feeling in that still moments, right? The quiet moments. So we're going to talk about this environment. And here again, we got this Empress energy, lots of feminine energy here. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Listen, I tell you, I use not gender specific here. I'm a masculine, but I also try to remain in my feminine energy. Okay. Um, it's intuitive. It puts you in a state, and meditation is one of the greatest gifts we've got. You know what I mean? So, and a lot of you know this, but this is, I don't know, this is definitely kind of this is not an option. This is not a maybe. This is definitely, I've got a destiny here and I realize it. So this is someone, someone calling you beautiful, someone calling you handsome because you're glowing. This has got that energy that's nurturing, like I just said. And so naturally someone would want to spoil you, right? It's got, I want to cook dinner for you. I want to introduce you to my family. This kind of beautiful, um, I'm going to become the territorial predator here. Somebody else is planning long term with you. You're about to, reap the wrath of my. Yeah, I'm just saying it could look like for some of you somebody's initials popping up everywhere. Okay, it has an energy of just this nurturing, beautiful, consistent kind of kind of a there's an imprint, onto your path is what I'm getting. You're unmistakably this beautiful, um, you're the beautiful design of life. Okay. All right. We're going to talk about this hopes, fears, wishes, or worries. And again, it's just all over the map. This is whoever I'm speaking to. Um, you are the epitome of clarity at this point. Okay. But maybe you fear a little bit of the truth. You crave connection, right? But I feel like there's been some betrayal in the past. So, and you're in this very high intuitive state of mind. For some of you, could be dealing with Pisces energy. Doesn't I'm not trying to put down any other signs or anything like that, but there may be a Pisces in your energy. And this could look like a soul tie kind of pulling on you, right? Maybe there's an old repetitive pattern in place there, or this is, I want transparency, but it's got a little bit of that abandonment issue in the background. I don't want to be too much, but you want somebody to choose you openly here. So it's got, I fear being misled, and I want the truth though, even though it hurts. You're in that kind of energy, and I feel like, in that high feminine state, while while the emotions may feel really intense, I do feel like you would be a lot more capable of dealing with this situation. We saw that, the Three of Swords in the heart space. So it's like, I feel like this is your intuition being confirmed. Your inner knowing is right here. Some of you could be seeing, synchronicities like the sign like 717. Okay, it's like that. It's confirmation to the soul. Okay, we're going to talk about this 10 of Wands here in this outcome and the direction, and it's not what you think. Again, take it with a grain of glitter. This isn't a warning; it's clarity. And I'm going to tell you about this. This is like, you're not carrying anybody else's emotional labor anymore. You've done. I just feel like you're dropping the emotional weight, not love here. I'm just saying this is, I'm not. I don't have to explain my worth anymore. Okay. Um, you know, if you want to accept breadcrumbs, cool. You're holding back for your own truth here. This is I'm not going to minimize myself for everybody else's needs. So carry your own guilt, right? This is all about emotional layers, and I feel like you're shedding what isn't yours here. You know what I mean? So Cancer 2026, like I said, with that Wheel of Fortune, it's definitely the year of emotional intelligence. You are that divine empress, the divine high priestess energy is all about timeline, and it's about clarity, replacing all the confusion here. Okay. I feel like your boundaries are definitely going to sharpen up within your connections. You know what I mean? And so someone maybe from your past or your present may be realizing, and seeing this physically, not only physically, but, in your energy, the value, in the way that they never have before, so this is all about a destiny that's going to reroute itself. You know what I'm saying? I'm shedding all the emotional weight, and you're in that softness era, right? It's a rise into a version, of yourself that it's going to attract the type of people who their main focus is devotion, honesty, that long-term energy here. Okay. I really feel like it's a beautiful, beautiful reading here. I'm really Cancer, I'm stoked to get it. It's a very mature reading. Anyway, if you enjoyed the reading, hey, give it a thumbs up, would you? If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, hit that subscription button. Anyway, Cancer, I love you. I respect you. I appreciate you. Hope I get to see you in the next readings. All right. Bye bye.